Hello Ice and Fire Nerds, this is Chris and welcome back to another Game of Thrones foreshadowing series where we're diving in and trying to find out all the little foreshadowing moments, the little hints, the parallel moments, etc. in Game of Thrones. And in this video we'll continue with Season 1, Episode 7, You Win or You Die.
Dracarys.
Alright, so picking up right where we left off, let's jump right in. We have a scene with Ros and Littlefinger as she finally made it to King's Landing on the damn turnip cart, and we see Littlefinger say this.
We don't know is usually what gets us killed.
So we hear Littlefinger tell Ros what we don't know usually gets us killed, and of course she has no idea who he is or what he's after, and later on we see this.
Fall breaks them.
And during the same scene, we're getting a little more insight into Littlefinger and what he wants, what his end game is this early on in the series, and we hear him say this to Ros.
She must be very beautiful.
No, not really. Impeccable bloodlines, though.
So we get a little more insight into Littlefinger and what he's after, and he mentions that Kat's not even really that beautiful, but she does have impeccable bloodlines. So it tells us that he's after her for power, not for love, and of course that translates later on to her daughter when we see this.
I loved your mother more than you could ever know. You're more beautiful than she ever was.
Lord Baelish.
Call me Peter.
And also during this conversation, Littlefinger tells the story about the little duel that he had for Catelyn's heart when he was younger. And of course he's referring here to Brandon Stark and Ned Stark, although he never names them. He's talking about her, Ned, and Brandon, and the little love triangle, and this is how it changed Ned's life. And Littlefinger's for that matter as well, because he did get a scar from Brandon. Brandon did not kill him, but Brandon ended up dying, and Ned ended up marrying Catelyn anyway. So we're getting a little more backstory about Ned and the Starks and what went down before Robert's Rebellion. And of course, during Littlefinger's little session about how to please customers, he tells Ros this.
Their rules. I'm not going to fight them. I'm going to fuck them. That's what I know. That's what I am.
So he's not going to fight them, he's going to fuck them, and of course later on in the same episode we see this.
I did warn you not to trust me.
So this is just one move that improved his lot in life and increased his power. Of course, from this betrayal where he was on Cersei's side and pretended to be on Ned's side, he did gain more power. So this is all about Littlefinger's deception and his motivations, and we're really not sure what that is, but in the very next scene we see this.
And what do you want?
Oh, everything, my dear. Everything there is.
So he says he wants everything there is. Now we really don't know if he's kind of joking, if that's kind of a jest at this point, but down the road during Season 6 he kind of opens up to Sansa a bit, and this is where he fucked up.
What do you want?
I thought you knew what I wanted. A picture of me on the Iron Throne. And you by my side.
So 5 seasons later, he tells Sansa what he actually wants, and that's where he screwed up, and I think we're going to see that pay off in Season 7. And in our next scene at Winterfell, we see Osha coming in as she is now kind of a hostage, so to speak, as Theon comes in and does this.
Theon Greyjoy. The lady is our guest.
So Theon's harassing Osha a little bit here because he is a ladies' man, but Maester Luwin walks in and saves her, so to speak. Although I don't think she would have had a problem handling Theon. But the point being here that this continues the little arc with Theon when Maester Luwin reminds him this.
Thought she was our prisoner.
Are the two mutually exclusive in your experience?
So this continues the theme about Theon being reminded constantly over and over from everyone that he comes across that he is not a Stark, he is not there on his own will, he is in fact a hostage, and of course later on that leads up to this.
Have yielded Winterfell to Prince Theon.
You all know me!
Aye, we know you for a steaming sack of shit.
Farlin, you be silent. All of you should do as he commands.
And during that same scene, we get a little insight into what's really going on. Again, we're getting constant reminders about what's really happening in the story and what's really important in the story. And Osha tells Maester Luwin that she is trying to get as far south as south goes, talking about Dorne, trying to escape the White Walkers. But of course, Maester Luwin says this.
The things you speak of, they've been gone for thousands of years.
They wasn't gone, old man. They were sleeping. and they ain't sleeping no more.
So Osha tells Maester Luwin the truth. She knows what's going on. She's seen it with her own eyes. And later on, we hear the full story when we see this.
Oh, no. None of you know. None of you been up there. He came in through the back of the hut. Only it wasn't Bruni. Not really. His skin was pale, like a dead man's. His eyes bluer than clear sky.
So later on, she tells Bran the full story about how she's seen somebody turn to a white, so she knows this is the truth. And even after she tells Maester Luwin, he still doesn't believe it, because later on he tells Bran this.
Old Nan used to tell me stories about magical people who could live inside stags, birds, wolves.
That's exactly what they are, Bran. Stories. But they're gone from the world, along with much else.
And in our next scene, we go to Castle Black, and Sam and Jon are at the wall, on top of the wall specifically, on guard duty, and we see this.
The horn. We have to blow the horn.
Why is he alone?
One blast for a ranger returning, 2 for wildlings, 3...
There's no rider.
Now notice we hear Sam here say, we need to blow the horn. 1 blast equals a ranger's returning, 2 blast equals wildling, and 3 blasts, well, he gets cut off. We don't know what the hell that means. But later on, we do find out what that 3rd horn blow means when we see them at the Fist of the First Men.
He's Jon the Half-Hand. We're back.
2 blasted wildlings.
You're not fighting them alone.
Come on.
Three blasts.
So of course what Sam didn't get to finish saying when Jon cut him off, seeing the riderless horse come in, was that 1 blast equals rangers returning, 2 blasts equals wildlings, and 3 blasts, although not used in thousands of years, equals white walkers. Or as Ed put it, run! Run like hell. And of course he got interrupted in the first place because he saw a solo riderless horse come into the wall.
That's my Uncle Benjamin's horse. Where's my uncle?
So Jon tells Lord Commander Mormont that's his uncle's horse and asks him where he's at, and later on we see this.
Uncle Benjamin.
And then we cut to the scene where the lion has actually taken out the stag when Robert's on his deathbed.
I should have spent more time with you. Shown you how to be a man. I was never meant to be a father.
So the first part of this scene, Robert's talking to Joffrey, who he thinks is his son, and he's basically saying, you know what, I should have spent more time with you and taught you how to be a man. And yeah, he should have done something, because we see this later.
Ride back to Lord Frey, thank him for his service, and command him to send Robb Stark's head. I'm going to serve it to Sansa at my wedding feast.
So there's really a multitude of scenes here where we could have picked from to pay off what he meant by telling Joffrey he should have spent more time with him and made him a man, because Joffrey's a fucking psychopath. So you can basically pick any particular scene that Joffrey's in and get the payoff from what Robert means there, because he knows he's fucking crazy. And of course, during the same scene, we hear Robert tell Ned this.
The girl. Daenerys. Let her live. Stop it if it's not too late. I will.
So basically, he's talking about Dany here. Let the Targaryen girl live. You were right, I was wrong. And basically Ned says, I will, I'll try to stop it. And this kind of gives him a little relief, because here he's thinking about not only Dany living, but his bastard son, Jon Snow, and how he had to protect him as a Targaryen 14 years prior. 17 years in the show. 14 in the books. And as Ned leaves Robert to die, he walks out and we see this.
He commanded us to step aside, but I failed him.
So Barristan feels really horrible about failing Robert, although Robert actually killed himself because he commanded Barristan Selmy to stand aside while he tried to fight a boar completely shit-faced drunk. And Barristan says, I failed him, and later on we see this.
I owe you my life, sir.
The honor is mine. My queen, I was sworn to protect your family. I failed them. I am Barristan Selmy, King's Guard to your father. Allow me to join your Queen's Guard, and I will not fail you again.
So anyway, guys, I'll leave it there, short and sweet. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm sure there's some things I missed. As usual, thank you for all the support, especially to you guys on Patreon. And a huge shout out to my executive Patreon Smokescreen producers, Hall Griffin, Lala Gig, Vol Guy 10, Kisa Powell, Marilyn Bentley, Mark Joseph, aka the Snow in Winterfell, Joanna, and Sean Hayes. Thank you guys so much. I really, really appreciate it. And thank you to everyone out there in YouTube land. If you dig what I do here, please give me a like and a share. Be sure to subscribe to get everything, and make sure you click that notification bell so you're notified when I drop a new video. So thank you guys so much. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.